At Arizona State University, we've made online education better, smarter, and more personalized so you can go further in your aspiring field.
I decided to pursue medicine once I realized that ASU did have the online program for biological sciences. You're still required to learn the same curriculum. You're still being tested on the same content that anyone would be tested on in person. The comprehensiveness of the program prepared me so well for medical school.
Explore over 350 plus programs at asuonline.asu.edu.
Grave Tone.
Welcome to Grave Tone Podcast, where horror comes to life in every form it takes. I'm Megan.
And I'm Arthur.
And it's really late.
It's like 1:20 in the morning.
It's almost 1:30 in the morning.
It's bad.
It's past our bedtime.
Way past.
I know.
But
okay.
There's a reason.
Yes, we're doing this for you. No, I'm kidding. We've officially hit the earliest iterations and like parts of a spooky season,
yes.
Which means that we're getting pretty regular theatrical releases of new films.
Yes,
and
awesome.
So we're kicking off what is sure to be a pretty packed season of releases with the latest and allegedly last in, according to an article that I read, phase 1 of the Conjuring Universe.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that afterwards.
What the fuck, right? Yeah. Called The Conjuring Last Rites.
Yeah.
At the time that that we're recording this, the film came out today, September 5th.
Yeah, we literally just saw it.
We just saw it tonight.
And
so
we ran back home
yes,
to record this.
As we do.
1:30 in the morning.
Oh my God. I'm very tired. We're going to sleep late tomorrow morning. Anyway. The Conjuring Universe, I don't think needs too much of an introduction in the first place. It's a very famous franchise. At this point, there are 9 films in the extended franchise.
So many.
At the time of recording.
But technically of the original Conjuring, this is only number 4.
4, yes.
Yeah.
Correct,
That's how many
exactly.
other spin-off tangible movies there are.
4, and apparently last of this portion of things. So
right.
The inspiration for the Conjuring Universe are the lives and investigations over the course of their many years of service of Ed and Lorraine Warren.
Yeah, and that's why they say it's like based on a true story,
correct.
But it's an extremely embellished true story.
Very much. So Ed and Lorraine Warren's like lives were incredibly embellished as far as I can tell.
Well, tell me about it.
Yeah, so Ed and Lorraine Warren were, that's it, essentially, they've both passed away now, and they were both considered paranormal investigators, basically. So Ed was a self-taught and apparently a self-professed, essentially, demonologist.
Cool.
And Lorraine had professed to be basically clairvoyant, essentially, was what she had, and like a medium, which was what she had kind of, her claim to fame was. They were married for a number of years. They met and worked together on a variety of different paranormal investigations. And through virtue of whether it was just fascination with the idea of the supernatural as a whole in America, whether it was the way that they marketed themselves.
Yeah, wasn't it because it was also documented and stuff? So it kind of like they went on talk shows and it was documented and stuff.
Yeah,
so.
And they did manage to get themselves involved in a number of very high-profile alleged cases of haunting and supernatural occurrences. Yeah. Very notably, things like Amityville.
Cool.
They very notably investigated that haunting. And claimed that there was allegedly some sort of paranormal goings-on the property. However, it's very difficult to believe that when a number of years post all of this, the Lutz family basically fully admitted to making the whole thing up, which both discredits
that doesn't help them at all.
No, and it discredits the Warrens quite a bit as well. I have mixed feelings about them in general, simply because the idea of all of this obviously is fascinating, and that I can definitely get on board with the idea of people potentially believing that they're experiencing some form of phenomenon in their lives, and I wouldn't want to discredit anyone for that. However, I get a little bit less enthused by the idea of people who are, whether it's monetary or not, people who are potentially profiting off of the fear and maybe, trauma that people are experiencing. So, anywho, Ed and Lorraine were, characters, obviously, and no matter what, they live in the American lexicon as being incredibly famous for what they did and all of the cases that they investigated. And maybe they opened some doors for people, who knows, right? So, all of that aside, that's it. Ed passed away in 2006. Following a stroke. He had heart complications, I think, for quite a long time. And Lorraine passed away at the age of 92, actually, in 2019.
Wow. Okay,
so she saw the beginning of this franchise happen. A matter of fact, she was a consultant, I believe, at least on the first Conjuring film. And she has a cameo in the movie as well.
Oh, cool. Okay.
And her and Vera Farmiga, who plays her in the film franchise, I believe became quite close throughout the course of their conversations together.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's just an
nice.
interesting thing. Franchise is created by James Wan, now very well known for a multitude of different things. So his claim to fame was definitely, I would say, the Saw franchise really kicked him into high gear. So obviously, he and Lee Winnell had created that series, essentially. That's it. The Conjuring, I think, really brought him into the mainstream more than anything else, because it's just one of those franchises that really seems to work for a mainstream audience.
It struck a chord with people.
For sure. And like a
works.
Supernatural haunting type of thing is something that's always popular.
Yeah,
really.
and it's like a little bit actiony and stuff.
Correct.
So like
Yeah, agreed.
A lot to like.
He has a way of building scares that are quite effective, and so I think that also really works in his favor. So I would say The Conjuring is maybe his most well-known franchise, as well as like the Insidious franchise, which also has a number of entries within it. Although from what I'm seeing here, that's it. So the Conjuring franchise right now is essentially considered one of the, if not the highest grossing horror franchise to date.
Yep.
The combined budgets of all of the films come to $208 million, but they've grossed $2.2 billion.
That's insane.
Which is crazy.
Yeah, and apparently also I'm reading right now that this movie specifically is set to be the franchise record at 65 million.
Yeah, see, that's it. I'm not even surprised. So, as we said, that's it. If we're sticking to, we're not going to get too complicated. So if we're sticking to simply the Conjuring franchise that really follows the Warrens specifically and not any of the offshoots. So we're talking about any of the Annabelle films or the Nun, which also both fall under this purview. The first Conjuring film came out in 2013. It followed the Warrens investigating the Perron family haunting, which was in Rhode Island, followed by The Conjuring 2, which came out in 2016. That one focused on the Enfield poltergeist, which was actually in England. In a council estate, essentially, that was alleged to have taken place. The Conjuring 3, which came out in 2021, follows the Warrens' investigation into the Devil Made Me Do It case, which was the trial of Arnie Johnson, which I believe was in Connecticut, which is where the Warrens lived, and followed, that's a young man named Arnie Johnson, who, this was the first case in American history where a defendant killed someone and claimed demonic possession.
Oh, okay. So of course they jumped on that.
Of course, and this one, I will also say, if you really look at I've looked into the actual case of Arnie Johnson, largely discredited. He was found guilty of the murder and was sentenced to, I think, 20 to 30 years, but he only served 5 for good behavior, and he did kill a man, which is pretty wild.
Jesus.
So, and now that's it. We're wrapping things up, I think, on, I guess, this portion of things with The Conjuring Last Rites. This particular case was, I think, one of their last ones as well. The actual Warrens themselves, when they were investigating, which was the haunting of the Smurl family in Pennsylvania in 1986. The family was experiencing, of course, obviously they moved in, they had been living all in a house together. They brought an artifact in, I guess, and accidentally unleashed a demonic entity of some sort, allegedly, into their midst, which began terrorizing the family for a number of months. So that's kind of where we're at with this one. That's it. Like we said, it's just come out, and since we were mentioning numbers and stuff, obviously we've seen that. Okay, so I know we've seen that, like, the Conjuring franchise is a very popular one, but I think because you and I consume a lot of horror content, I forget sometimes that some of the franchises are really going to draw a big audience.
Yeah.
Our theater was full.
It was packed.
Man.
Like,
full.
when we were buying seats, there were like 20 seats left.
Yeah, there were
That
like
was like early in the morning.
Yeah, like this morning we were like, let's get our tickets now, and there were already almost no seats left in the theater that were next to one
Yeah, I was
another.
kind of surprised. Like, I know it's like the last movie of the franchise, allegedly, or at least it's the last one of the phase.
Phase
Because
one.
there's phase two.
What is
So, I
this?
mean,
The MCU people? Come on.
I mean, kinda. So apparently they're still kind of like developing and writing phase two, but from the early information that exists, is that it's going to basically go deeper into their other cases, other demons, new characters. So
yeah. Okay. So
you
it's
know
going to
what I mean,
introduce
it's
it. Well, because like we've had 3 Annabelle movies now, 2
that's
Nun
it, so-
films. So like eventually,
yeah. no
how much more are you
other
going to do?
stuff. But anyway.
Audible's romance collection has something to satisfy every side of you. When it comes to what kind of romance you're into, you don't have to choose just one. Fancy a dalliance with a duke, or maybe a steamy billionaire. You could find a book boyfriend in the city and another one tearing it up on the hockey field. And if nothing on this earth satisfies, you can always find love in another realm. Discover modern rom-coms from authors like Lily Chu and Ali Hazelwood, the latest romantasy series from Sarah J. Maas and Rebecca Yarros, plus Regency favorites like Bridgerton and Outlander. And of course, all the really steamy stuff. Your first great love story is free when you sign up for a free 30-day trial at audible.com/Wondery. That's audible.com/Wondery.
No.
Movie was packed, and it was a very interesting viewing experience.
Okay. Yeah. So I don't know if, okay, and so we've experienced different things at different times with audiences going into horror films. And now, again, maybe it's just because it's been a while since we've gone to a film that's part of like a really popular, maybe more modern franchise like this that tends to draw a lot of people in. And I mean, like, I'm seeing this. I didn't even realize that this franchise had made $2.2 billion. That's wild.
Crazy, huh?
I had no idea. So I guess maybe part of me was going in figuring it would be full because we saw this morning when we were buying tickets that it was full. But I also just, I guess, was playing that off to a degree as like an opening night thing, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Because of that, it's the last movie, it's opening night, it's a Friday evening.
And it's just like we spend a lot of time going to see films that are like maybe some of them that are big like this, but also slightly smaller ones, spending some time with film festival audiences, which are very different, very reactive, but generally everybody is reacting to the same things at the same time, which kind of makes things a little bit more cohesive. And even I was trying to think when we were leaving the theater, I was trying to think of experiences that we've had in the last like few years, maybe, in which there's been like a very like reactive audience in like a mainstream film that we've gone to see like at a large release at a theater. And the last one that I can think of, which was still a totally different experience because of the level of enjoyment, was probably Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yeah, I remember that one.
So, but that was because all of the kids in the audience, all of the people who were there are people who were fans of the game, and you could tell.
And the streamers and everything.
And it was such, and it was.
They knew the theories. Yeah.
It actually kind of wound up being like a fun screening to go to because people were so enthusiastic about this franchise and the idea of this becoming a film franchise now with all the love they have for the game. So that was really different. This was weird. Tonight was strange. I mean, is this the one type, like, are these the one types of movies, like these sorts of like jump scare, supernatural haunting films? Are these still the ones where you get like the fraidy cat types that are just like, oh, I hate horror, but I'm going to go watch this movie anyway? Because there were a lot of people like that in the theater.
Yeah, it felt like you're sitting at home with a bunch of your friends and you're watching a movie, but everyone's doing their thing and people are on their phone and they're talking to each other and they're screaming being under blankets.
Yeah.
They're reacting to things that are obviously coming or the things you've seen in the trailer.
The things that are literally, there's a music cue for them.
Yeah. Yeah, it was interesting. Anyways, I mean, look, it didn't ruin the experience.
No, it didn't. It made parts of it maybe funnier than it should have been.
I think that's it. Yeah.
Because there were times where people would have like very strong reactions to things that I did not even flinch, and like I jump at films. There's a couple of
jump scares, really good scares.
Yeah, jump scares will get me in any type of movie. Sometimes like that's if it's just like well built and it works. And like I said, James Wan is good at building scares in his films. So I guess because I just like I couldn't quite wrap my mind around my lack of reaction to a lot of what was happening versus like what almost felt like an overreaction from some people who were there. I don't know, whatever. I shouldn't shit all
doesn't
over
matter.
people.
No, we're not.
It means
It was very different.
it was just interesting. But you know what? If it also means that people are still going to see horror like
Yeah.
this, then I guess I'm cool with that. Like I'm all for that, you
That's
know.
fine, man.
It's
Go
still
watch horror
kind
movies, guys.
that's it. Like it's still cool that like this franchise, even a franchise like this, is this much of a draw for people.
Yeah, no. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
I mean, anyways, let's get into the movie. So before we get into that, don't forget to follow us on other socials, Gravetone Pod, all the social accounts. Just
Everywhere.
everywhere. Just pick one. We're there.
Yeah.
So, first impressions.
Okay. Yes.
Like very short first impressions. What is it?
Oh God. We're just knocking everything today.
It's too late.
We're okay. First impressions. Let's see. I will say it was fairly atmospheric. It looked really good. Like
Yeah.
the film looked great. The performances were good. Everybody was really on board for this one. You could tell. A lot of the visual aspects of the scares were very well built.
Yes. As always.
Yes, but I guess this is just me coming from my opinion about the Conjuring franchise in general. The movies all kind of blend together for me very often in terms of like everybody is experiencing a haunting. It is a family.
I mean, yeah.
The Warrens show up.
The story is very repetitive.
Do
right?
their exorcism thing. Lorraine does her clairvoyant thing and like figures out what's going on, and then Ed exorcises whatever demonic entity exists, and I'm fine with it. But this one, in this case too, partially because of like the point at which it took us to get to that part,
That was way
this
too
movie
long.
was fucking long.
Like, seriously, I was waiting for it, and I was like, okay, they're kind of, introducing the character and some of the backstory and the family of Lorraine, the Warrens, right? Because they have a girl there and
A
stuff like
daughter.
that has to get inserted into the story
Yeah.
somehow. And then it was the story of the actual family that gets haunted and everything. And I was like, okay, when are they going to take on the case, quote unquote,
Yes.
right? And I checked my watch when they did
Yeah.
take the case. It was an hour and a half in.
Yeah. So this movie is over 2 hours
Yes.
long.
I know, it's like 2 hours and 10 minutes or
Yeah,
something.
it's about 2 hours and 15 minutes,
That's it.
essentially, is the runtime.
Insane.
Again, no disrespect to anybody. I understand what they were trying to do. They were trying to bring us into, like, the more emotional aspect of things about the
Yes.
Warrens themselves and their family. And I get it because it's, like, their quote-unquote last film, allegedly. But it just, 4 movies into a story like this, I needed that earlier.
Agreed.
I didn't really need it in the 4th installment of this, and I just, so you just kind of wind up being like, man, this is taking a really long time to happen. And I realized it like halfway through. I was like, they're not even there yet. We've
Yeah,
seen the
that's it.
Smurl family like 3 times, and everything else has been focused on Ed, Lorraine, and Judy.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
it.
that's
It was their
nice.
story and everything.
Yes,
bring
and
it
I'm like,
together.
that's nice, but like, it's not really what I'm here for, if I'm honest. Like, I'm kind of here for the rest of it.
Right. Well, I mean, because it was kind of like the passing of the torch thing.
I
And
know.
look, I guess we're gonna get into spoiler territory right now,
You've been warned. Spoilers ahead.
because I think in order to do the phase 2 thing, because now like it kind of connected in my head, right?
Yeah.
Is that they were passing the torch, right? So the whole thing is that there's a whole story about their little girl being born, Judy, and there's like a whole growing up montage and whatever it is, and she is also clairvoyant,
Yes.
right? And she was technically like dead for when she was born, but then she was resuscitated, whatever.
Yes.
And
By,
then
by God.
yes, and then her boyfriend, who kind of like is engaged to her essentially
Well,
through an accident in the movie. He was also like, his backstory is that he also technically should have died, but by some miracle he didn't.
Yes.
Right, and then that kind of makes them the Warren couple that will follow in parents' steps, right? Which is the
Yeah.
mother is always trying to, during the movie, she's always like, no, suppress, conceal, don't feel type of thing.
Oh my God, thanks, Frozen. All right, Elsa.
Anyways, but that's what she was always saying, right? She's like,
Yeah.
no, you can't see them. You can just kind of like hide them away. Don't think about it. They don't exist. And then at the end, no, she's like, no, you have to kind of like face it. Don't run away. And, they have to finish the whole thing together. So I really felt like it was a passing of the torch, and that's why they had to do this whole backstory, and it took a while to get to the point because they had to, because you can't just insert a child and be like, well, a child, she's like a grown woman now, and be like, yeah, well, she's also kind of like her mom clairvoyant, so she's going to help them do cases.
Well,
you know what I mean?
They've indicated it in the previous films, but this is obviously the one where Judy herself has played the largest role as a character,
that's what
because
I'm
she's
saying.
been in all of the other movies.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
she's been there with them. She's been in the house. I believe, from what I remember of the third film, she has a whole thing where she goes into like the artifact room that they have. And stuff. So like she exists and has existed in the franchise, but it's true that like this is sort of like a movie that gives her the opportunity to be focused upon, which is fine.
That's what I'm saying. So they're trying to pass the torch, and now that since we learned that there's going to be a phase 2 of it, I don't know if the original Warrens are going to be there, or if it's going to be the kids, or they're going to slowly transition into having it being their kids and stuff. Because like, look, at the end, the fiance of Judy, who's their daughter, he gets the keys to the basement.
Oh,
where all the
Tony, yeah, that's
artifacts are
true.
locked,
Yeah, so I
right?
think
So
the
it's
idea is
the
that
whole
he
thing.
helps them start doing
that's
stuff.
it. So, or he's going to start helping them, or start doing it with Judy. Like, there's a whole thing, right? Like they're obviously doing this for a purpose, and that's why I think it was a slow beginning, because they had to build all that up, but it was still a little bit too slow.
It took too long.
An
to
hour
get
and
there.
a half when the movie is 2 hours and 10 minutes. So now we're literally talking another 40 minutes of the actual case being done.
Yes.
So like how much time it represents of the case versus the other part should have been
there was a
completely
huge
completely
disparity.
switched.
Yeah.
Completely switched.
I agree.
You
There
know
was
what I
a
mean?
huge disparity with that. I was kind of like waiting. I'm like, okay, are we going to get into the, oh, no, we're not there yet. Oh,
Yeah, that's
no,
it.
we're not
No.
there yet.
But,
oh, no, we're not there yet. And I'm like, all right.
I did like the backstory of the ghosts that were
Oh,
haunting
yeah.
them.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So that was really cool. Like a whole thing that this used to be a farm, and like this woman cheated on her husband, and then he went and killed her.
He went crazy and killed her and her mother.
And her mother at the same time, but that was not actually the ghost, because there was like a higher entity that was controlling them. That was something that happened to the Warrens when they were just starting.
Yes.
And they kind of like took on a case that harmed the baby, I guess, if you want to call it
Well,
that
so
way.
it was while Lorraine was pregnant.
Exactly,
right?
yeah. And that was
So-
like their first case, and they never came back to that house to finish it, and now it kind of came back full, full circle to get them back, essentially.
Yeah, but no, that's literally, that's what it is.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
The
I kind of wish we
practical effect.
focused on that a little bit more.
Right, that's it. So, like, that would have been interesting
I mean,
to get more of that as opposed to an hour and a half of
what's his name?
paddling around.
Anyway, they never named them, but like all those aspects of it. The husband who went crazy, I was like, that guy looked like the Joker. Like, he was scary. He was like a deranged Joker. Am I wrong? I really felt like that's
They
what
were
he
awesome.
looked like.
No, but so that's what I was gonna say, is that I loved the practical effects on those ghosts, because I mean, unless it was CG, it was extremely well done. But I thought it was.
I don't think it was.
Yeah, I thought they just had really, really good makeup and prosthetics, and like, damn,
They looked really good.
they look really good and
What
scary.
shout out
like-
makeup and like costume and makeup department on these things too. Like, good job, guys, because it's also, they're consistently, every time one of these films comes out, we're moving into different years for the Warrens, so they
Yes.
have to move the fashion around a little bit.
yeah,
They
that
have to
was-
fiddle with things to a degree. Like, they've got like their signature looks. Like Lorraine in particular, I feel, has a very signature look because of her hair and the overall way that she dresses. But they do a really good job of not only with them, but with the characters kind of in the periphery, and the way that like the fashion changes and adjusts
Yeah, of
over
course, it
the
makes
different
sense,
years,
right?
right? Because we're moving from the 60s through the 80s. So there's like a
Yeah.
big shift that way. Also, the start, or the, I guess, cold open-ish of the film, that does follow the Warrens as younger people again, when Lorraine is pregnant,
Right.
with Judy and everything, and they have their initial moment where they come into contact with this entity for the first time. Good job, casting department. The younger versions of them looked a lot like,
yeah.
especially the one who played Ed. I was like, damn, he does look like Patrick Wilson.
I thought the one who played the young Lorraine looked extremely good. I at first thought they just de-aged
They
her
de-aged them or
really well,
something.
but no, it was.
No, I know.
It's different people, right? from what
Yes,
you're
yeah,
seeing,
no,
and
100%. It's two different people. Yeah, that's it. Madison Lawler plays a young Lorraine, and Orion Smith plays a young Ed Warren. So, yeah, no, I was really impressed with that. I was like, wow, they really, I know part of it's like the style that they give, like the
course.
stylization that they give them, but I'm like, man, they must have had to go through a lot of people to find,
Yeah, that's it.
to find that. So I was like, wow, good job,
Yeah,
everyone.
it was really well done.
Yeah.
Yep.
We do, yeah, I don't know. I mean, okay, so like, how did you feel about the overall like haunting aspects of things with the Smurls themselves, like the family and everything that goes on with them?
Look, I thought some of the haunting parts or aspects were pretty good. You know, when the whole like the whole artifacts in this movie is the giant creepy looking mirror that Lorraine touches
Yes.
at the beginning when they just started, and that's the mirror that comes back because the grandparents found
Because
it
the
in some
Smurl's
kind of a
grandparents,
yard sale or
yes.
whatever it is.
And they give
anyways.
it to one of the daughters for
that's
her
it.
confirmation,
And
which
then-
like, what the fuck, Grandma and Grandpa?
Yeah, that's fucked up.
You bought that monstrosity and we're like, do you know it would make a good gift for a confirmation for like what, like a 14-year-old girl? I was
Right,
like,
that's it.
it's terrifying.
It's huge too.
It's also
like,
cracked.
Fit anywhere.
Hello,
Yeah, it
that's
is
bad
cracked.
luck immediately.
No good. Yeah, so like, you know, they put it in the room with the girls, and the girls are like, no, that's too creepy. We're gonna throw it out. So they're gonna throw it out, and it gets basically trashed by a compactor, garbage.
Yeah, by a
collector,
garbage
right?
truck, yeah.
And then like I was saying, some of the haunting is that one of the sisters, she starts like throwing up glass, which was really cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that was well done. Some of the jump scares were really well done.
Yeah.
I mean, when they did the whole Annabelle, but as a giant.
Oh, the giant
that
Annabelle.
freaked me out. Because I was looking, I'm like, okay, you know what? I've seen maybe one Annabelle movie, and I was never that impressed. And I was like, okay, I mean, whatever.
Okay, so
She's
my
kind of creepy, but whatever. When she's a giant, damn.
Every
That's like run out the house and burn it.
Shopify's point of sale system helps you sell at every stage of your business. Need a fast and secure way to take payments in person? We've got you covered. How about card readers you can rely on anywhere you sell?
Thanks. Have a good one.
Yep, that too. Want one place to manage all your online and in-person sales? That's kind of our thing. Wherever you sell, businesses that grow with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 a month trial at shopify.com/listen. Shopify.com/listen.
Fuck that.
every time I see Annabelle, it's like if she always makes me laugh because it's like if Slappy tried to do bad drag,
Oh my god.
and that's what she looks like.
That is not an association that I had in my head, and now I do. So
Now it's
thank
gonna
you.
live there for
Great.
you.
It's Annabelle
You're
is
welcome.
Slappy and drag.
Okay, but like for
Jesus.
real, like I mean, look, if you stare at that face for long enough, you're like, oh yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
Maybe it's that all like weird, creepy dolls in movies start to look alike eventually.
that's
I
it.
don't know.
Yeah, but anyway, so like some of the parts were good. I didn't find it overall that scary.
Me
You know what I
neither.
mean?
I
don't
know.
know. Like we were just talking. I don't know if it was the ambiance of the movie theater that took me out of it, but I was kind of like, okay, it had a couple of good jump scares. Like some of them really, really surprised me.
Yeah.
But overall, I wasn't like terrified. You know what I mean? And like you know me, like the haunting or supernatural.
Possession
Paranormal
shit, like-
stuff really affects me
Yeah, you don't like
when
it.
I watch them because like I don't know why like my mind really goes into places when I watch this, and I was watching that one and I was like,
Meh.
I mean, not bad. Also, I guess I helped for the movie itself.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't help for the scare factor. I think is that there were a lot of funny moments in the movie, which I was really surprised about.
Yeah, that's true.
But in a good way, you know, not like it wasn't like stupid bad horror funny type of
No.
thing. It was natural funny moments, which I really really enjoyed. So I think that made it maybe a little bit less scary,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe that was the goal. But like I didn't hate it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I just thought it would be scarier
I
because it's also
agree.
the last one, and I was expecting something insane, but
so I feel
wasn't
like
that bad.
yeah, I feel like I kind of agree. I think the thing, I guess for me, the thing is that I'm kind of not like, yeah, I know what you mean, and I would have preferred that, but I guess I feel like I'm not super shocked by it. Probably because I've now watched all of the Conjuring
Yeah.
themselves films. So I haven't seen any of the Nun films. And yeah, I think I've watched like one Annabelle film. I'm not like a hardcore, like obsessed kind of person with this franchise. And I've never found them very scary.
Right, that's
They
it.
are really nice to look at, and there are good individual scares within them. I
That's it.
completely
Yeah,
agree.
exactly.
But I am never overly scared by the story itself.
Mm-hmm.
It's never something that affects
you know
me
what?
very much.
Maybe that's why it's bringing such a mainstream audience because it's
Yeah.
not too scary, fucked up that people are like, oh god, I'm not watching that.
Like
That's
you're
for
not
the
gonna go
hardcore
home.
people."
Yeah, that's it. It's true. Like it's not like something insane that you're gonna leave after and be like psychologically affected by
that's
it. You know.
But it's also not like not scary enough that it just kind of like, why would I go watch that? It doesn't
Mm-hmm.
do anything for me. So like maybe kind of found that weird happy medium.
Maybe.
maybe that's what it is. But anyways, I mean, look, for people who I guess are really into horror, I don't think they would find it that scary.
No.
Yeah.
No, I agree.
That's
And
the
I mean, I'm sure if you're listening to this, you probably are of the same mindset. I would
Right.
assume, like, if you're somebody who does kind of consume a lot of horror content, yeah, it's just,
Yeah, like I'm not saying it has to be gory or something.
no, but
really
it's also-
fucked up,
it's-
but it was like good horror scare builds, but overall, not that bad. Not that
no.
scary.
And I mean, this is making it like, like this isn't to make anything sound like we hated it or anything. I didn't
No,
dislike
not
the
at all.
film. It was fine. But for us, it's just because, again, of the volume of this stuff that we're like watching and reading and
Mm-hmm.
whatever on a regular basis. And even games and stuff like that, that like, I'm sure it does kind of like, you do become a little desensitized eventually, whether
Yeah.
or not you would like to, even if you like appreciate what the medium is, you might not be as affected by it as some other people would be. But that said, based on the number of people in the theater and the number of people who were like, jumping, screaming,
They're
having
freaking out.
reactions to
During the
things,
movie, they're like, "Oh my god, no, don't go there, don't do this." I'm like, yeah, okay.
I can't help but feel like, I guess like instances like this remind me of how important sort of more mainstream franchises like this are,
100%.
because they still keep people who don't regularly consume this kind of content going to the theater and supporting the idea of making this type of art.
Yep.
And so at the end of the day, I'm, even if it's not something that like I'm super attached to or affected by, it's still something that I appreciate in a way, and still something that I'd like to support simply because it still
100%.
keeps like, it kind of
Yeah.
keeps momentum going
It's
for
not like
that.
we're being elitist or anything like
No,
that. But,
God. I don't feel like we sound like assholes, but
I
like,
know,
no,
right?
that's not my goal at all.
But yeah, that's it. Like you need those. You need those mainstream ones, like the Saw one.
Yeah.
That was also very mainstream. Look, from those things, maybe it's gonna spin off a couple of dozen people who are gonna go deep into it. And,
Well, that's the thing,
be
right?
part
Like
of
people
the
who are going to
deep
watch
horror
the
community,
entire
so-
Conjuring universe now, like, I don't know, it's possible.
Of course.
Yeah. So, I mean, we could do a watch through of some things at some point, because that's it. We've never watched the other spin-offs, so at some point we could get into it and see how we feel about them. Yeah, that's it. It was very, middle of the road for me. I do find that like Vera Farmiga and Patrick Wilson really have carried this series well the whole way through. Like they're very committed, and it shows.
Yeah.
And I do appreciate that about them. I mean, Patrick Wilson is basically James Wan's muse at this point. So
Yeah.
he kind of is, which is cool. That's fine. I love that in this particular installment, also, he lives in like a full dad mode. And I like that for him.
yeah,
I thought he
100%.
was adorable. And I like that for him. I'm like, yeah, you know what? That's a fun little thing for you to be doing.
Yeah. And yeah, like I was saying, like so far right now, apparently it's blown all away all expectations. It
Okay.
was supposed to be tracking for about 40 mil plus on opening weekend. Right now, it's about at 65. After 30 million on Friday and including Thursday night previews, right?
Damn.
So like it's,
And it's only Friday night right now when
I
we're
know
recording
it's
this.
just now.
So we've
you
got
know?
Saturday, Sunday, and into next week.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be I think it's gonna be the biggest one for them.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, and like surprisingly, from early reviews, 6.6 on IMDb.
Okay.
That's not bad. Rotten Tomatoes critic score always sucks because no one pays attention to that one, but critic score states 55, and
Okay.
who cares? Popcorn meter is 78.
Okay.
So that makes a lot more sense, I find.
I'd place it more. I don't know if I'd put it quite that high, but I'd place it more in like the 60,
Well, it's not in the 50s.
65
Yeah, I would put it
ish range.
I would put it high 60s, maybe mid 70s, something like that.
Yeah, that's it. Exactly. That makes more sense to me. But,
That's it.
the critics never like mainstream horror films ever.
Yeah, well,
So,
whatever.
yeah.
Who cares?
Anyway,
Anyways, yeah.
hey, listen, I'm here for it anyway. Maybe I'll do like a watch through at some point of all of this stuff and see how I feel about the franchise. Maybe overall, maybe I need to take a look at like some of the other offshoots.
Mm-hmm.
But in the meantime, we're happy that it's almost like this was like a nice little intro into spooky season. This is like spooky season light, because we're getting into the releases that are upcoming for the rest of the year. So, I mean, yeah, I don't know. I think we're looking forward to a lot of what like the rest of the season has to offer. And as
Definitely.
much as we can, we'll be kind of hopping on and covering some of like the new releases and stuff that are coming out. But obviously, in the meantime, you can feel free to, like we said, keep up with us on all of our socials. So, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, Blue Sky, just search Gravetone Pod. That's where we are everywhere. But until next week, guys, stay scared and stay tuned.
Ciao, guys.